In recent times, a growing number of young adults are trapped in the transition between the educational system and the labour market. In the meantime, we can find lots of different political and institutional strategies, programmes and measures in the various European countries aiming to cope with the transition problem of young people. The WorkAble project takes a closer look at them.
Wir haben Arbeitslosenquoten unter jungen Menschen in Europa, die ganz dramatisch sind.
We have unemployment rates among young people in Europe that are really dramatic. And then we get these typical policy approaches where someone says, wow, we have to get these youngsters fit for the job market, see to their so-called employability, and make sure that the education and training that they receive, this human capital, can be used well in society. There can be debate about the approach. Our key argument is that this does not go far enough. Why does this not go far enough? There is little thought as to whether these young people are really being helped into a position where they can realise a form of life and a kind of work that they can rightly value.
So etwas wie eine Form von Leben und eine Form von Arbeit realisieren zu können, das sie mit guten Gründen wertschätzen.
Das heißt, die sozialpolitische Verpflichtung besteht darin.
This means that the socio-political responsibility is to put the chances for the development of qualifications at the focus, and on the other hand, to make sure that there are chances for capability, that there are structures that allow these young people to take advantage of opportunities and to define these for themselves as perspectives.
Und für sich als Perspektive zu definieren.
Es geht nicht darum, das Ganze nur aus einer ökonomischen Perspektive möglichst effizient zu gestalten.
It is not the point to find the most efficient approach from an economic point of view, but to recognise the great challenge for social justice. The kind of justice that is reflected in the future prospects that open up for actors, and in the scope and quality of their options and opportunities.
Handlungsmöglichkeiten und Daseinsmöglichkeiten Leuten bereitgestellt werden.
Applying the justice-based capability approach developed by Martha Nussbaum and Amartya Sen, 13 partners from different disciplines and European countries collaborate closely in a multidimensional research process.
The objective of the WorkAble project is to assess the impact of certain programs or policies on the capabilities of young people. And we specifically investigated this with regard to 3 kinds of capabilities, which means capability for voice, capability for education, and capability for work.
Are young people able to voice their wishes, their expectations and concerns? And are they taken into consideration in the decision-making process? Are they really free to choose the education or the kind of training they have reason to value, or do they participate in programs other people think are the best solution for them? And do they have the specific skills and competencies to make such a choice? Are they empowered to choose their job? Do they have the real freedom to choose this job, or are they forced to do a job or an activity that they have no reason to value? To answer these questions, WorkAble analysed firstly, institutions in the field of education and vocation, as well as labour market policies of the 9 participating countries. Secondly, the conceptions, aspirations and practices of local actors of educational programmes and the subjective perceptions of the young people who attended those. And thirdly, it was evaluated how effectively young people were enabled for the long run. And here are some results of these studies.
In our institutional mapping, we could clearly emphasize or clearly show that programs that bring back to the main road are much more capability friendly than programs that have that are specifically targeted at young adults with difficulties. Do not target young people specifically with measures that can possibly be stigmatizing, but bring them back to the main road, which is the same road as for every young person.
In our case studies, we can see that these young people have a passion for life. They want to achieve something and they want to make their contribution to society. And we also see that many able and committed people from the education and training system are active everywhere in Europe. They recognise the problems and they champion for a social and economic future in Europe. We are aware that there are still some hurdles, constraints and dilemmas to overcome in order to improve the chances of young people for a self-determined life that they can value.
to understand young people's circumstances, it's very important to understand a longer perspective of the living conditions, basically. But we've been able to show that actually if you follow them for 20 years, you can still see that you have an effect of youth unemployment on their earning abilities, their career pattern, and also on their general well-being.
Die Filme greifen das auf, was wir auch in den empirischen Fallstudien in den Blick genommen haben.
The film addresses the issues that we also focused on in our empirical case studies. We show educational and training systems in the transition phase in 9 European countries, with their specific orientation and peculiarities. In Sweden, Denmark, Great Britain, Germany, Poland, Austria, in Switzerland, France and Italy.
In Frankreich und in Italien. Der Zuschauer erhält
The viewers gain an insight in the institutional transition landscapes in Europe, the realities of life and the transition stages of young Europeans, and an impression of the chances and risks young people face on the road towards their professional and personal future.
Wobei man immer im Auge haben muss, dass die prozentualen Darstellung der jugendlichen Arbeit.
We mustn't lose sight of the fact that the percentage of unemployment among young people in Europe is so immense that even this project can only be one contribution, even though a significant one, for those that are in specific social situations due to leaving school too early or because of other problems, and therefore need our special attention from the point of view of the theory of justice, to give them the chance that they deserve as citizens of the various states and nations.
Theoretischen Gesichtspunkten die Chance zu geben, die sie als Bürger der unterschiedlichen Staaten und Nationen verlangen dürfen.